Hey, Coach, super excited you decided to join us on our YouTube channel. If you have any questions or leave a comment down below, make sure you subscribe. And make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's a great resource, mentoring, everything you would ever want to become a better basketball coach. So go check it out and enjoy the video. All right. Morning, Coach. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. Appreciate you rescheduling this.
No worries. This is good. I coach volleyball in the fall, so I'm literally like tomorrow we're going on vacation for like a week and a half.
Yeah, I hear it. We just finished our last summer league game. We got a barbecue on Tuesday and then we're done. I coach football.
Oh God.
So I got 2 weeks. I got 2 weeks to.
Yeah. I leave town. The only way I don't go to work is my wife makes me leave town. So we go out and see my brother, and it's like we gotta literally leave Wisconsin, or I'm doing something. So that it's good, but it's like getting actually in the car and getting moving is a whole different ball game.
Yeah, no, I hear it. I'm in Minnesota, so I'm not too far away.
Okay.
I'm northern Minnesota.
Yep.
So
where in Minnesota?
You know where Duluth is?
I do.
Okay, I'm about 30 minutes south of Duluth or so.
Okay. Yeah, I taught my first coaching job was in Wausau. So
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so you are in you get an extra. I'm convinced northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin gets another month of winter.
Yeah, tell me about it, man.
It's 2 weeks. Here's my theory. I'm a math teacher. It's 2 weeks on each end.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You get spring starts later and winter starts sooner than in like southern. And I noticed it when I moved down to Madison. It gets warmer faster. Yeah.
I live on a lake here, and we didn't know if the ice was going to be off by opener. So it's like second week of May. And I'm still staring out, and there's like 2 weeks before that, and there's a full-size pickup truck on the lake. It's just crazy.
So I remember the days of opening was big when I was like didn't have 18 different things going on. But I remember there's more than one opener that there were icebergs. Like, look, as you're fishing, there's like ice is floating by you. It's like, oh God.
That's what I always tell my wife in the summer. It's gonna be snowing in a month. You know, we have to go do this now because it's gonna be snowing in a month. That's my thing. It feels like you just really get into football, like in August.
Yeah, football. I can't imagine. I don't know how you play baseball. How does your baseball teams do it up there?
We play about like 30 games in like a 2 week span. It's just nuts, you know, because everything gets canceled, and then everybody's in a mad rush. You know, you play 4 games a week, some double headers in there. It's just nuts.
Yep. There's a couple of things in my utopian world. One of them is to get rid of the jump ball because I think it's stupid. But the second one is for every high school to only play summer baseball. Yeah. Especially in the Midwest. It's like our guys play. That's the same thing in our season starts. Our baseball season starts in end of March, early April, and they get canceled, you know, and then they play all these games in like a 3 week window. It's like
that's where we're at. Like Legion baseball is so big that Legion baseball and high school baseball sort of butt heads. And so you can never move the high school league to the summertime because Legion has such a hold on summer baseball.
Summer baseball.
That's a weird deal. I played baseball, whatever, but I'm not a baseball guy.
No, and I played baseball too, and I'm not a baseball guy. My son played baseball, and finally when he gave it up, I said, well, I'm kind of happy because I don't have to sit outside and watch it play anymore now that I'm not coaching yet. And it's like that 3 week window in the spring. So
yeah.
All right, go ahead, Coach. You got questions?
Yeah. Well, I'll just give you a quick little overview. I won't take long.
Okay.
So longtime football coach in my district. Been a football school forever. So I've been there 10 years, and in the 10 years, we've been to the state tournament 9 of the 10, state championship game like 3 of the 10.
For football, you're talking about?
Football.
Okay.
So it's been a football school forever.
Okay.
And 3 years ago, coach kind of got ran out. It was a whole thing. They had no applicants for the job.
That sounds like my job. I was the only applicant for my job. Yeah.
But actually, I take it back. There was one dude that applied. That Skyped in his interview like in his bed. So they weren't going to hire this guy. Literally Skyped in his interview from his bed. So they had no applicants for the job. Opened it again, got no applicants. So feeling loyalty to the boys, you know what? Yeah. I mean, you're my guys. I'll do it. And now it's just taken life, and it's this beautiful thing now, and that's all I think about. And But when I took over the year before, they won 5 games. Graduated like their 3 or 4 top scorers off a 5-win team.
Okay.
So that's an issue.
Yep.
From I guess you say from a philosophical stance, X's and O's, what they did before was not what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So the last couple of years have been just completely revolutionizing. But
how big a school and who do you play? Are you playing like metro teams or?
No, we're kind of outside. So we're a 2A school, which is the second smallest in Minnesota.
Okay. Yep. So I have to ask everybody when because I talk to people all over. But they should uniform that too, because it's like 5 and 1 is big, and it's like okay, so 2A is small. Okay.
Yeah, small. So we co-op with another school. So between the two schools, we have about 70 kids a grade, 60, 70 kids a grade.
Okay, and then you don't play any urban. You only play other rural schools.
Rural schools, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we go, mostly all rural schools.
Okay.
We play some schools bigger than us, some schools smaller than us. It's just that out of state, you get who's ever close.
But you're not playing like Minneapolis or Duluth, big time.
No.
Okay, yeah.
No.
No, but I mean, even small schools, that would have the same size as you in suburban Minneapolis would be.
Right.
You're playing a different kind of player in some respects. Right. Yeah. Okay.
No, I think where we're at, it's very
rural,
old school, traditional, and like the progressive elements of the game. It seems like it's always just a little bit slower getting out to us.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. It is, because it's a different style of basketball. When we play in these summer tournaments, we play bigger schools and schools closer to the metro.
Yep. And but then you could be what I'm telling you is I think you can be on the cutting edge too, though.
Right. And that's where we're going. We play a powerhouse from southeastern Minnesota, Rushford Peterson, who's in the state tournament all the time. And they play just a different brand of basketball down there. And they're a small school away from the metro, but it's amazing how things are sort of geographical. Like it works for one team, then all the teams in that area also kind of pick up on it.
Right.
Basketball in southeastern Minnesota is different than basketball in kind of northeastern Minnesota.
Yes.
It's just weird how that works.
Yeah. It's the same in Wisconsin. There's still the Dick Bennett thing, and from the point, I mean, it's
Sure.
Yeah.
So first year, tripled the win. We got 115 games.
Okay. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those ones where we coached our ass off and went to win those 15 games. Like there's 10 of them that could have went either way, and we call ourselves the Cardiac Kids, and we had of our 15 wins, 10 of them were within 5 points.
Okay.
Last year, I think we won like 17 or 18. So like things are trending up.
Yep.
And I feel really good about it. And we have this young group of kids coming up. My 9th and 10th graders are just phenomenal. They're starting to they were good, but now we've worked with them. We've had a summer program in place.
Yep. It's a cultural thing too, I think. I mean, I took over a program that had 5 winning seasons in 35 years, and it took me 5 years. It's about changing culture, and the shift you've made seems like the culture's already shifted. So that's good. Once you get the buy-in, especially with boys.
Summer basketball, 7 through 12, we only have like 50 kids in our entire program.
Right.
And we're 30, 35 of them every day in the gym. It's all the right kids. And so the buy-in, it's just the little stuff that
Yep.
And they need to take the next step. Like I feel like we can win 18, 20 games, but I want to win a section championship.
Well, you want to go to the state tournament. You want to play for the gold ball. Yeah.
It took 3 years for these kids to realize like we're just not playing where like that first year we played these good teams. And, that was awesome. Last year we would have got beat by 30.
Right.
So, like, we need to get past that, and we need to beat those teams by 30 and beat those good teams.
I mean, do you talk about the brass ring at the end? Do you talk about all that stuff?
Every day. I mean, every day is
good. Because a lot of people don't. If you're good enough, so here's my theory is like, and we've been blessed, but every year that we've been good enough that we could win it, I've talked about it. Like, the 5 and 15 team, you're not going to win the damn thing.
Right.
But if you're one of the top 20 teams and you think you can, I think you talk about it. And every
football program, little day one, we're talking state championship.
Everything. And then you're talking about this is why we're doing this. So why are we here lifting at 5:15 a.m.? Or why are we watching film for an hour after practice? Or why are we having curfew the night before a game? Or why because again, having taught teenage boys for a really long time, you have to feed the monster a little bit. And feed their egos and feed their this takes hard work, but remember why we're doing this. Yeah.
I coached with the dude's going to be a Hall of Famer who I'm coaching with right now with football. And he understands that psychological point of it. And we just keep feeding those kids, and all of a sudden they believe it and they start playing almost bigger than they really are.
Right. And they get a little dog in them.
Right.
Dog in them. Yeah.
Right. We've made 3 state championship games with rosters that aren't as good as other teams, you know, but that's these little dogs that just fight, you know.
Yep.
But and that's what you got to that we just need to, and I want to talk to you about.
Yep.
That I think will kind of push us over.
Yep.
You know, so I got some real technical kind of stuff that I want to talk about.
Yep.
Because I know that I have the program thing down.
Yep.
I mean, not down, but you know that's not the most pressing need right now.
Yep. Yep.
The youth program's going.
Okay.
You know, fundraisers are going. It's just some technical stuff that.
Perfect. You first of all, before we start, you're in better shape than 95% of the people I talk to. I'm dead serious. Because I mean, no, if you feel like the program's going the right way, because half the people don't think that, and you have the youth program, that's 90% of the paddle, to be honest with you.
And I got some great parents in the youth. I mean, I walked into a beautiful thing. Like, we're a couple parents after seeing these seasons, like, we just got to change this. So 2 dads, 3 dads just kind of took it over, organized it, got like the LC, and they got it going, boys, girls combined. You know, we're fortunate. We co-op with another school. Okay. So we're not academically, we're not together, but sports. So we have 2 gyms between the 2. Actually, I take that back. We have 4 gyms between the 2 schools to fit everybody in.
Right.
So gym time isn't an issue. So our youth program, you know, they're starting to beat up on people around in the area, and things are looking good.
Well, then you should, to be honest with you. So if we're talking, we'll talk the technical stuff in a second. But if we're talking long term, and you feel like if you are beating up people in your neighborhood, then you gotta go find a bigger neighborhood. Swear to God. Yeah. I mean, that's what we've done. We're not traveling this year, but I think the last 6 years we've left the state. We've gone on a national tournament during the season. So now I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, you got to think summer, maybe next year, especially if you got 9th and 10th graders. Where can I go? And if they get their butts kicked, they get their butts kicked, you know. Right. But I think you got to push. It's a fine line, but you got to, especially if you're winning, you can push them a little bit. I don't mind us getting our butts handed to us times, because our guys know we win and we're gonna win. So going and getting like beat up in the neighborhood isn't a bad thing, but you want to stretch that, I think, a little bit.
And that's what we did with our 6th graders going into 7th grade. They got out of our local league.
Yep.
Kind of a thing like that. You know, that's a big thing. You know, we didn't have a team in it, and they went down and played MYS tournaments down in the cities, the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
They also lost a couple games, and it was good for them though. I mean, I think they played too much basketball, which it almost was between fall league, winter, spring. I mean, they almost played year round. So that was an issue, and that's something that we need to change. Like I don't know how many games you play in the summer, but like my varsity kids, they almost played 40 games this summer.
Yeah, we don't do that. We used to do that, and I was trying to keep up with the Joneses, and then I stopped doing that. So we do a lot more skill. Can you do stuff in the summer?
Yeah, we had the 1 dead week period over the 4th. Other than that, it's as soon as school's still.
So it's open. So what we do is we spend like 2.5 weeks in June and play. We go to Milwaukee. So like talking about playing bigger ball, we go to the Milwaukee. We're in Madison. We go to Milwaukee. Like Milwaukee kids going to Chicago kind of thing. We kind of try to go find something that's not in our neighborhood. So we play in a Milwaukee league. We play maybe 2 or 3 tournaments, and we do skill work the rest of the time. Because my guys are all playing AAU. So I don't necessarily all of July and all of the spring is them playing, most of them. Right. So I don't really I think they play too many games, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And I'm just getting to that now. Like my younger kids are good enough to play AAU, so I think this last year I had 3 kids play AAU. Right. Man, that's something that quite hasn't got up to us yet. Like it's weird.
It's gonna. And then what happens is that you worry about. I don't worry about burnout per se, but I worry about first of all, go be a kid. Especially living in Minnesota. Go to the lake. Go do some fun. Do that. You can't. First of all, those games are great. My son's going to be a junior. I pulled him out of AAU because he wants to play for me. And I go, well, we can play AAU and you can go to Iowa and play 5 games on a Saturday, but it's not going to make you a better player.
Right.
Do you want to be a better player? I can make you a better player.
Right. And I told parents, like, we're going all of these days because I think it worked out well. Like, I want you to go on vacations, but I don't want, if your kid goes on a vacation, the 1 tournament we have, all of a sudden he missed, a third of the games of the summer.
Right.
We have more, and I have a ton of kids. I have 10 or 12 kids that can play varsity basketball. So if I miss a couple, they're going to the Dells or whatever. Like, that's great. That's fine. Go do it. If you're home, I want you here. I don't want you on the couch.
That's my rule. That's my rule.
It must have got it from you. I heard it from somebody, and it must have been you because I listened to whatever podcast.
Yeah.
But it's, if you're home, I want you here. If not, go camping, do whatever. Right. That's fine. But the game's gonna be open. Like, I don't feel pressure to be in here, but I want to give you that opportunity if you're home and if you want to be here. Well, it just happened that nobody took vacations. Everybody was in the gym. Yeah. And then at the end of the summer here, as we're playing games 35 and 36, it was, I feel burnt out. I guarantee I love basketball more than you, so you have to be burnt out.
Right. Right.
So we're going to change it. And I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to get a couple tournaments down in the cities.
We split up our team too. It's summer. I just want them playing. To be honest, I don't need my full core guys playing. So what we did is actually some of my guys were feeling burnt out after AAU. So my Milwaukee league was Tuesday, Thursday. We split them into 2 groups and said, this group's going to go Tuesday. And it helped with my assistant coaches. And then, I didn't have to go all the time. I think I went once.
I just got a couple of young kids that are so used to winning. And when they don't win, it's hard for them. And the amount of time,
That's good.
Guys, it's summer league. No one's going to remember this score, but what are we taking away from this game?
Right.
That's the important thing. We're playing everybody. Like, we're not going to have a 12-man rotation come season.
Right.
Like, that the tweener ninth grader, I'm sorry, is not going to be playing half the game, and they don't get that, but they're young.
They don't. As long as you keep, and the key with that is just keep reiterating that to them. They'll eventually hear it. But we have guys go on vacation too. That I would have a parent meeting next spring and say, hey, it's fine, but let's map it out. You can go on vacation. I don't want you to think you have to be here, especially if you've got guys that play football. It's like, then they get no break.
Right. That's the thing. We got mini camps this week, and then we have a 2-week dead period for football, and then 2-a-days starts up 2 weeks from now. Right.
And we call vacation week. Like, last week was football camp. Like, we're done. I don't want to see you guys. Like, bye. Right. Like, I'm not opening the gym. Don't ask. I'll open it. My son's going to go in, but I'm not opening the gym up for you. So I don't care what, you can sleep in, you can go play, whatever, but I'm not.
I do think next summer I'm going to have less. So we play in 2 different leagues on back-to-back days. I'm going to get rid of one of those, and then I'm going to have just like an open gym night, but it's going to be structured where I'm going to actually run the clock, keep score, go up to a certain time period, and get alumni in. We did that last summer a couple times, and it weirdly turned into really good basketball. And the kids are having fun, because they're playing against these older kids, and we have enough alumni in the area now that want to come back and play. And I'd much rather actually have them play against that 20, 21-year-old body.
Did you see me put up that Bob Hurley stuff? I've done a couple of those. That open gym Bob Hurley thing.
Oh, I think I saw it. I don't know if I looked at it.
Look at it. It's kind of fun where you do different types of games within them playing. Refocuses. I'll see if I can find that and send it to you again. We did a couple of those early in the season. The boys liked it. We just got away from it a little bit, but.
All right, I got some technical stuff for you here.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so I know I put this on like the forum. Yep. So we struggle with late in games icing the lead. Like the couple games that we've lost this summer, we've been up late and just kind of piss it away. And there's different reasons each time, but it's becoming an issue. Yep. And not even just that. It's we're up 20 with 5-6 minutes left. All of a sudden, it ends up being a 7-point game. We struggle with that icing the lead.
You're young. We're
young. But even last year, I had some seniors that kind of came through, and it's been an issue since I've taken over. So I don't think it's a kid thing anymore, because I've seen the same issue for 3 years. So I know it's something that either I'm not coaching or not.
Are you practicing it?
We do special situations every day.
How long?
We don't specifically target that's one thing. We don't do like a 5-minute special situation.
So what I have found to be successful is play little mini games.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I have them here with me. I don't think I do. I gave them to my assistant. So I have a whole bunch of, like, when I'm sitting in an airport or I'm going somewhere, I'm doing something, I just write down situations on 3x5 cards. So I've got about a stack like this, and we grab, we'll spend like 10-15 minutes twice a week, and we'll put it on the clock. And especially if you're having, when you're up and not, I'd put more of those in. So then I'll throw things at them. So let's say your first 7 are doing it and you're up 20 with 5 minutes to go. We'll use your example. then I would throw a sixth defender in there, or I'd call foul when there wasn't one. I would give them situations that would make them struggle because they're young and they haven't experienced it. And you haven't, to be honest with you, I've coached for 30 years. So I've seen just about everything. So nothing super freaks me out down the stretch. You know, I know what I'm going to do in just about every situation. Well, you haven't been coaching long enough to do that. So early in my career, I did this a lot because I needed the practice. And then I found out me needing the practice, they also needed the practice. So you have to do that. Do you have any more summer time left?
We have 2 days next week, which are, like I said, they're just kind of fun days. We're gonna have a barbecue.
Yeah, so then I would do that early in the season next year. I would this is going to be part of our routine, and you can do it when you're down 7 too, so you can work on your pressure and fouling.
We do special situations every day. That's built into every day. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter, but problem it's always been reactionary. Where, geez, last night we did this, and all of a sudden we're gonna practice it today when.
It's got to be it's got to be like free throws. It's got to be like working on your offense. It's got to be every day.
But I'm just curious, offensively, I mean, do you change in the last – oh, Charlie, just wait. Sorry, kids. In the last 2 minutes, do you change, like, what you do offensively? Like, do you have, like, a set or, like, a rotation in the last 2 minutes, you know, to help ice the game?
Well, so 5 minutes up 20, we're probably still attacking a little bit. We're trying to get to we're probably, and this is where when you do it in practice, it will help because you're talking about these things.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about, hey, what do we want to do? We want to get to the free throw line. We want to get good shots. We want to get like 9s and 10s on our shot scale. You know, we don't want 3s. We don't want 1-and-1 and creates. You know, those kind of, we don't want charge, you know, here's what we want and here's what we don't want. I'm not telling you don't score, but you got to use some common sense at this point. So that's where I think the situational stuff helps with that if you're up, because you got to stop it and talk about it. By January, they'll know at that point. Now, do I do anything differently? No, I do a little bit of now 2 minutes is different than 5 minutes. You know, we'll have calls where I think last year was like a black call. Like you're only shooting a layup at this point. You're only shooting a layup. We're up 7 with 2 minutes. We're going. There's no shot clock, right?
Right. No, no, not Minnesota. Not yet.
Yeah.
But not yet.
Yeah. So, trust me, I'm one of the guys that got it in Wisconsin. I'm fighting it hard. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, our first 2 years, I was like that. You know, we just didn't have the horses. You know, so we'd have 40-second possessions, 45. Because I know that team's going to score. You know, they're way better than we are.
Well, and the problem is too. It's like especially in the small schools, if they're not as good and you put a shot clock in, you're toast because they're going to take horrible shots in the last 10 seconds.
Right.
But getting back to that, so I would do.
I don't change anything. I tell my kids to stay aggressive, but like I said, let's take open shots. Let's not take.
But you gotta practice that, and then you got to talk about the different scales of what's the difference between 45 seconds and up 3, 2 minutes and up 10, 5 minutes and up 20. They all feel different to you, and to them. So that's where you kind of you really have to practice those. And the thing is, and the good thing about sophomores and juniors or freshmen and sophomores is they become sophomores and juniors. Trust me, experience will help with this if you practice it. Because by the time they're seniors, you won't even have to say anything. They'll know.
I don't know how many times this summer, me and my assistant, we got frustrated in the game, and then we're riding home, and dude's a 9th grader. Like,
right.
Think about all the good things that he did in that game. Like, where's he going to be at in 3-4 years from now? Like,
I don't know how many coaches I've told this to, too. The difference in 8th grade, 9th grade, first of all, the classes are different. They're going to a real school in high school, with all the periods and all the expectations that come with high school. But they're also practicing every day. And it's just the level is like, every level is harder.
I've had these 9th graders, will be 9th graders with me for the last couple of years.
Right.
They were too good for our local competition.
Yeah.
So they come up and practice with us. So I've had these kids now for summer basketball and regular season for 2 years.
But they're not having the stresses of being in high school and the homework and all that stuff.
We're just one school. We're small enough where
okay.
I see kids in the hallways every day, in the high school and stuff.
Okay.
So it's all same teachers, same kids, whatever. All right, next question I have is on the ball defense. So we're struggling and we're very good. we don't really run like a pack line. We're transitioning a bit from a pack line because we didn't have horses in years past. We really packed it in.
Yep.
But now we have athletes coming up, so we're getting up the line a little bit more.
Yep.
So I wouldn't say we're like a hybrid kind of between the two.
Are you pushing sideline?
On the backside. Pushing sideline, yeah. And then, we'll have calls where I want the guys to get up and deny ball reversals, things like that. But on the ball defense, we're constantly getting beat, and our rotations are getting better and our help's getting better. But the problem is we're constantly getting beat on the ball.
Are you getting beat with the strong hand?
Will obviously. What's that?
Are you getting beat with the strong hand?
Like with the ball handler strong hand?
Yeah.
I guess I've never really noticed. I guess
so you gotta look. So because trust me, I have some guys, and one of them lives in my house that has a harder time competing against some of the ball handlers and the athletes that are in our league. So
yeah,
you got to talk angles a little bit at this point too. And if you're pushing baseline and it's their right hand, they're going to be able to make that turn a little faster than if you're pushing baseline and it's their weak hand.
Okay.
So the funneling thing is good, but you have to talk about, what's a half and what's a full, what's a we're really pushing and we're kind of, and then the space. So those are the two things I talk about, the angle and the space. And then whether it's strong hand or weak hand. So if they're going to their right strong hand and a kid can play, he can make that turn on you before even if your help is coming. That's probably what's happening. Are they making the turn fast?
Right. Huh. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I've never really talked about that.
Yeah. So that would be the first thing. I think that will take care of most of it. Okay. And then are you trapping or are you all the same height?
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of 5'7" guys that can shoot. So
that's okay.
We are trapping. We do have a defense that we're getting more into it where we're trapping. And we actually
jump
stuff. Yeah, it's more of like it's super simple where we play. Like, we can just trap the first pass, and it'll take teams about a half a game to really figure out what we're doing. So we'll trap the first pass. Within that, we'll trap in corners, and we're getting to a point where I can give kids more leeway where they feel it. And we're a little slow sometimes rotating behind it. A kid will feel it and they'll go trap at the right point, but we're not quite at the point where that next guy over will then rotate.
Right. Have you thought about pushing? Literally opening up and pushing sideline that way and not letting them reverse. That way your help has to be better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I'm literally opening up and I'm and here's the baseline. I'm forming a 90 degree and I'm saying go ahead, go baseline. Mm-hmm. So the next guy is way up the help line that would stop the dribble penetration. And then we're really funneling them toward the baseline. And then you can trap out of that. That's a unique little look that I've been playing with that seems to be working. So it's like, I'm literally going to turn and go like this and make you pop it. I mean, if you throw it to the other side, you're going to have to, it's going to be a big rainbow kind of pass.
Right.
And then that forces that if the next guy down doesn't get up the line, we're done. I mean, they're going to score every time. So it forces that guy to get up and stop it. And then once they pass to his guy, then they're basically almost on the baseline at that point. And then you can trap it, move it that way. So that's might be a little wrinkle you want to look at.
Yeah, and we started experimenting more with that at the end of last season.
Okay.
And it worked. I mean, it was.
Oh, it will work.
It worked, and even just with these guards will see that second guy coming.
Right.
We won't even be in a trap yet, and there's a lollipop coming out of the guy's hand.
Yeah.
Do you have any good on the ball defense drills? We do some like one-on-one stuff, but I'm just curious, is there anything?
Yep. So all my man stuff I do in 2-on-2s and 3s-on-3s because that's literally how the game is played. So if I'm like even talking about that funnel thing, I'd have the guy with the ball, I'd have a guy on the help line, and then I'd have a weak side guy. So the rotations would have to work. So yeah, so I do a lot of, if you came and watch one of my practices, we do some one-on-one stuff. I do a lot of one-on-one stuff for tryouts because you can't hide one-on-one. You can't hide. But we do a lot of 2-on-2. A lot of our practice is either 5-on-5, which is actually we've gotten more 5-on-5 over the years, and then a lot of 2-on-2, 3-on-3 breakdown stuff, shooting, screening. Our big emphasis this year is going to be screening because we're horrible.
That's why I switched to the dribble drive.
Yeah.
My head was getting bloody on the block wall that I was banging against, trying to get my kid screen.
Well, no. We're gonna teach them how to move. We're gonna start
Yeah.
moving screens because no one calls it. So anybody that's listening, I don't know, like whatever.
Yeah. No, and we do a lot of 3-on-3, but you made me think with a lot of what we do 3-on-3 is offensive. You know, like we'll start a 3-on-3 out of like a ball screen, or we'll start 3-on-3 off a dribble handoff, where it's not defensive oriented, it's more offensive oriented.
Yep.
So.
And then you have you have one assistant?
No, I think I have, what do I have? Three.
Oh,
and then
you're good then. So I would break it up. It's like you can do, and how many you keep on your roster? 15?
Well, see, I have C team through varsity.
Okay.
We all practice together. Like we just have to because of gym space and stuff.
Yep.
So last year was actually really good. We had, between the 3 levels, we had like 28 kids, which for me was good.
That's not bad. That's really good. Okay.
My first year we had 45 guys in the gym.
Yeah, that's too many.
That was nothing.
That's too many. Yeah, so you could break it down where you could have 6 going here, 1 coach watching, 6 going here, 1 coach watching. I mean, you could definitely do that. And all you need is a basket. It's not like you need the full. So even if you're sharing gym space, it makes it easier. And then I keep score on everything I do. Everything's a competition. I mean, when I tried that last year, and I had a whole idea where I was going to keep track of winners, and like it was going to be like a pride thing on the board. Kids will not. I get a weird group of kids. They will not keep track of their scores. Like, we're doing like the team stuff, and all right, where are you guys at? When you get like the kid look around, like he doesn't know he's going to make up a number because he knows that he's not counting. I got kids that just won't keep track of scores. It's the weirdest thing. And they're not. Are they competitive?
Super competitive. Like there have been times where we got to stop and talk about being a good teammate. Like these kids go at it. They're best friends. That's part of the problem, is that I have such a young group, and they've been best friends because they've played together over the years. Got younger kids, like they're best friends, but they just go at each other, but they don't keep track of score. It's a weird analogy.
That's a first for me. I'm gonna have to think about that, because teenage boys are just like, I mean, crazy. I mean, they'll be competitive about walking to the bus kind of thing,
I think they're like Labradors going for a ball. They just keep going. They keep going. They don't think about what they're doing. They just keep going.
Right. Which there's pluses to that, but that goes back to what you were saying before. If they're Labradors and they're only going after the ball, that's where maybe down the stretch at the end of the games, they're not cerebral enough to be thinking.
And that's the biggest thing. And that was kind of like they'll get up on teams 20, 30 points, and all of a sudden we'll have this mental checkout for like 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Yep.
Like we've had stretches this summer where we've scored 30 points in 2 minutes and then not scored for 10.
Right. And again, that's youth. I'm thinking back to the problem we were talking about before. I think some film sessions would be really good, where you go on YouTube and find some situations and then say, okay, here's the situation. We're Kentucky. What are we going to do? And then have them get a piece of paper out and write it down, and then watch the clip. And then you can talk about it. I think you've got to get, especially after I never heard of teams not keeping score, not being competitive. At the high school boys level, I have not. So that I think that might be a good thing to do. So that could be your off season kind of thing, is just find some clips. And then, or you could even send it to them. Like, I don't know if you use what kind of way you communicate, if you snap with them or remind or Max One or Team Snap or whatever, but you could do it as kind of a weekly, like, hey, we're just here it is. And then I want you to send me your response after whatever. And then here's the situation. And then I'll send you the clip tomorrow after I get your reaction, kind of thing. You just want them to start thinking about it, and that'll be fun for them, I think.
And that's something that we didn't talk about using actual, like Kentucky or whatever. We talked about using our game film from last year, because we have so many new guys this year.
Right.
I mean, they're not even watching themselves. Like, 3/4 of guys that are going to play this year didn't even really play a minute last year. So I think we can use last year's game film. Yeah. And break that down, because all these guys are gone now.
Right. So it's like you're using, and you'll know that better. Just sometimes you might want to, and I have found when I've done this in the past, is you want to change it up. You want to put some Steph Curry in there.
Yeah.
Just because they're not as excited about watching old guys from their high school teams as they are the other ones. So they're more likely to watch it, is what I have found. Sure. But that will work. Something like that. That might feed into some of the, issues with your team. Yeah.
The next question to you is, how much shooting do you do in practice?
Not as much as I should recently. This year, I have a notebook. I don't have my backpack here. So I started a notebook at the end of last season because I was frustrated with a couple things. And I've slowly filled it up with things that we need to change for next year. And we are going to shoot more. We have to shoot more because I don't think people shoot as well as they used to. And we got ourselves in some situations like you where we went spans where we couldn't score. And it's part of it is like, it's like we get in the grinder in the season and it's like, situations and shooting are the two things that and free throws are the three things that tend to get lost in practice for me. So shooting is going to be, I'm going to chunk, usually in a 2-hour practice, I'm going to chunk 15 minutes, probably at least until January. And here's the issue I've noticed is my guys are shooting the ball really well right now because they've been in the gym, they've been playing. I'd say 90% of them play a fall sport. So they lose that. There's a mental part to shooting too. So what I'm going to try to do is in October, slowly start getting them back into the gym again and do morning shooting.
2-hour practice, you have 15 minutes devoted to it? I mean, like solely to shooting?
Shooting.
I don't quite go 2 hours. I go about an hour 45 or so. And I do at least 20 minutes. And I didn't think I was doing enough.
No, that's enough. And the thing is, they can do it. The shooters will find ways to shoot. So, and I'm not calling pre-practice where we have stuff on pre-practice. So I'm not counting. For the most part, we have two Dr. Dishes going. So when they come in, they're either on a Dr. Dish or they're doing works with my assistants. So they don't just come in and start jacking around before practice. So I'm not counting that in it. The kids that get on the machines probably get 100 shots up before I even walk in the gym. So I'm not counting those, but shooters will get shots. So you probably know who your shooters are. Like my son's a shooter. He'll stay after practice. He'll come in the morning. He'll find his own spots for that. But yeah, 15, 20 is plenty. Now that goes up again. January, February, when my practices get shorter and I'm less Xing, Oing and worrying about those kind of things, then my shooting does go up. Because it doesn't take a lot for them to get shots up, physically, because they're getting drained.
Okay. Yeah, and I haven't had, I guess, really great shooters the last handful of years, so that could be part of it.
Yeah.
We have a team, we have a lot of really good shooters, but we still go through stretches where we just can't hit a shot. We had league games last night. And we were playing a team, and it's a team from the reservation that's close to us. So it's just an up and down brand of basketball.
Right.
And we scored like 95 points in a running time game. It was just nuts, but we were shooting well. And this summer, like when we shoot well, I think we can beat every team in our section when we shoot well. But when we don't shoot well, it's going to be a struggle to beat these like 500 teams. So
you got to come up with some mentality of like offensive rebounds and things like that. You also got to think about them as bullets in the gun. And if A ain't working, then put B in. If B ain't working, put C in. You just got to keep reloading the gun. Because if kids are off, they might be off just for the first half. You put them back in because shooters are going to shoot. So you just got to try to find the combination that's working and ride it.
I have a couple of confidence shooters where if they make one, they're going to make 10.
Right.
But if they miss like their first couple, watch out for the rest.
But then they can't play.
Right.
They can't play.
The conversation I've had with these kids, we have 10 guys, and they said if you're going to mentally check out, you can't play.
Right.
If you're not going to get back and turn and transition, then you just can't play.
And they need to come up. They need to come up with a cue to let it go, like the 3 clap thing I do with my son when he gets frustrated. I said, you can be mad till the 3rd clap's over, and then you got to let it go. You got to be a goldfish, man. You got to have like a 3-second memory and then be done. Because shooters shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's we pulled kids out because they'll miss one or two, then they won't shoot again. So.
And that's a great summer lesson to teach because it doesn't matter.
Right, you're out there to shoot right now. If we're doing everything right, like on our primary break, and we get you in the corner and you don't shoot the ball,
right?
It's like the guys that busted their ass to get you that ball in that spot. You need to shoot.
Right.
I got a big one for you here, and I don't know the answer to this. And maybe if anybody ever figures this out, maybe they'd be the best coach in the world. Limiting turnovers. Oh my gosh, limiting turnovers. And I know it's part of our inexperience, but it's not even forced turnovers. It's just silly turnovers. And I don't, and I know it's young kids.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And how are they happening? Are they happening in pressure situations? Are they just mentally checking out?
I mean, it's just poor decisions. So the other night, we turned the ball over twice on inbounds, so we weren't even pressured. Like, it doesn't even make sense. It's just.
First of all, there's no easy fix to this. This is a couple things, because I've had teams like this too. You have whatever you emphasize they're going to do, coach, and turnovers are my pet peeve. Yeah. So I pointed and I'll stop practice and go, stop. That's a 6-point turnaround, and they'll look at me like, what are you talking about? And it's like, it's 3 points we can make, 3 points they can make. Every time you turn the ball over, it's a 6-point turnaround. So you have to take care of the ball. And then I talk about, I'd rather have. Are they losing it on the ball, or is it passing it?
Mostly passing. That's actually it's.
Well, then don't make the pass. I'd rather have the 5-second count. That's what I tell my guys when we play teams are better. I say, I don't care if you don't have an open lane and you can't make the pass. Take the 5 count, because we can get back and play. We can get back and play defense.
But it's even in the half court. I would say an overwhelming majority of our turnovers do come on just bad passes. How do you work that out? I mean,
you got to show them. Are you filming? Did you film the summer?
I didn't film the summer, no. Which I should have, because we have unlimited on crossover. We have unlimited like practice and scrimmage stuff. I should have put that on there. But.
Yeah, so I think what you got to do is like start showing them. It goes back to the other part too. I think film is gonna, with youth. I think film is gonna be your godsend. Maybe film practice sometimes and just say, hey, what were you thinking? And then you got to ask like why questions to them. Why did you make that pass? What did you see? Don't answer it for them, because you got to kind of try to get in their brains a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, did you see the guy's numbers? Did you see his hands? Why did you make the pass? Blah, 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 blah. Don't make the spectacular pass.
That's what I think our guys do. They want to make these great passes. When I tell my guys, 2 good passes is just as good as a great pass. Make a simple pass. 2 simple passes also get us the bucket. You don't have to throw that one between the dude's legs behind the back.
Yeah. And I'll stop. And I literally will stop practice. I'll go, what? No, stop. You're not playing at the United Center. Stop it. It's like, don't be. There's no difference. And I'll literally grab because I'll be so mad. I'll grab a ball and say, hey, we use PGC stuff. So we talk about breaking a window. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you heard that?
I've heard it.
So there's a window here right above the head that's impossible to deflect. And then there's 2 windows here and 2 windows at the hip. So you should break one window and then pass in a different window when you're getting pressured.
Yeah.
So window, ear, basically over the shoulders. If I'm defending, I can't if you pass right here by my ear, I can't physically get up there and deflect it. It's impossible. And above the head's the same. So, you close a hip window and then you go through a window. We talk about breaking windows all the time.
Okay.
So you got to come up with something like, hey, break a window and then pass in a different window, otherwise, so it won't get deflected. And if you can't make that pass, then they're not open. So I think you got to come up maybe with some terms, you got to see the numbers. We talk about that all the time. If you don't see their numbers, don't make the pass. What are you doing?
We're getting to a point now, especially like my little point guard. Like, he knows when he makes a bad pass, and he'll know when he lets go of it. He'll audibly, and the ball's still in the air. Like, he knows it, and it's getting there.
Right.
And he can tell me why. He comes to the bench. We talk about why that was a bad pass, and he knows.
Yes. So that's good. So by the time he's a senior, you're going to be fine. Trust me. Yeah.
I want to win games now.
I know.
It's a sophomore.
So it's like it's a teachable moment is the way I think of every one of those. And so early in the season, I would definitely spend a lot of film time on. I'd go through every shot. I'd go through every turnover. I'd rank them all in front of their friends. It's like, I tell my guys, I said, it's quiet in here and I'm not picking on you and everybody's going to have it, but let's rank that shot. What do you think that shot was?
We talk about shot selection all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I'm glad that you do that too. That's some validation, because I rank my kid every game. Our kids get a ranking. And so it's a number of different things, like, they get a +2 for an offensive rebound. every shot that they take, they got an average ranking for that.
Right.
What else? There's different things that go into it, and they get a score at the end.
Yeah.
And that's become a huge thing. Like
I don't get not offensive rebounding too. Like I just don't. It's like I've never told a kid not to shoot the ball after you get an offensive rebound. I stop them. I say I will yell at you if you take a 3 or a 5 shot that's horrible for you. You know, if you're a 12-footer shooter and you shoot a 18-footer, I'm going to yell at you and tell you not to do that. But if you get an offensive rebound, I'm never going to yell at you.
That's the biggest part of our individual offense ranking is offensive rebounds.
Right.
I mean, it's huge. How many times does the other team get an offensive rebound? I'll turn to my guys on the bench. Guarantee they hit a 3 here. Guarantee they hit a 3 here.
Yeah.
And then that happens. Yeah. And we're starting to get a little bit. You know, how many times will you tell a kid, like, you know, so shot from the opposite wing and you got a guard like right in front of you, like in the summer league games where they can hear you.
Right.
Hey, go get a rebound. And the kid squeaks in there and gets a rebound. But then the next time they won't do it. You know, let's go reward yourself and go put it up too. If you get an offensive rebound around the basket, very rarely am I going to tell you that it's a bad shot. Put it back up. You know, reward yourself.
Right.
I got one more question for you.
Okay.
So we have a post player who I think is going to be one of the better ones in the area. Big, strong football kid. You know, he's going to be a D2 type football kid. Really good player, but we struggle getting the ball to him at times. A lot of my kids now coming up have played in kind of an open post type system. They're just not any big ones. I mean, they're just a bunch of skilled guys. So they catch and they don't look. So we struggle with post entries. And I know we work on it in practice, but I'm just curious if there's anything that you've done in the past that you like.
So every time they catch the ball, they don't look at the rim?
They'll look there at the rim to see if they can get past their defender, you know, but they won't see the post player on the block. Okay,
so a couple things you probably have to do is you probably have to set up some sets for him to get touches.
And that was the second part of my question, if you have any good ones.
Yeah, I got some. I'll dig some out. It might be a week until I get back from vacation, but yeah, I got some sets. So I'll pull some of those out. So I'd work on some sets. I'd work on some calls where we don't shoot until he touches the ball.
Okay.
So we're gonna run purple, and the purple is, let's say it's, I don't know, you don't have to say his name, but let's say John has to touch the ball before we shoot. Now John doesn't necessarily have to shoot; he has to touch the ball. So that will force them to kind of start looking for John in the post. So I think sets is one way, second way, and then every time they catch it, you know, are they loaded? Every time they catch the ball, I yell at my guys all the time. Look, you have to look at the rim, because if they look at the rim, they'll see the entire court. So they have to be loaded and look at the rim every time. You have to be a threat. If you're a threat to shoot, you're also a threat to pass and a threat to dribble.
And part of it is with our dribble drive, you know, we're really focused on them looking at their defender before the pass is getting to you. Understand where your defender's at. You know, is he high? Is he low?
That is one of the problems with dribble drive. That's why I like read and react a little bit better, because there's not as much dribbling. Because with dribble drive, they're looking to do that. So then you maybe want to set some ball screens with him and some roll. Yeah.
We got into that a little bit last year, and it worked. Problem is, though, we really haven't ran a lot of ball screens, or they haven't. And so we were working it in February.
Yeah.
You know, and getting in the playoffs.
So I think that's 3 solutions to it. I think the call for him, the sets for him, and then working on screening and slipping for him, because it's basically still letting those guys create off the dribble drive. Because you know how the slip's going to be there 15-20% of the time, maybe. Can he shoot? Can he pop and shoot? Can he screen and pop?
Yeah, ask him. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm asking you though.
See, the best and worst part is if he gets the ball around the basket against 90% of the teams that we play, he's going to score, or he's going to have a really good shot to score, just because he's just that much better than the kids.
Well, then you got to get him the ball. You got to get him the ball.
Yeah, right? You
got to get him 10-15 touches where he can create. I mean, I'd be honest with the guys too. When I've had like high school All-American, it's like they have to touch. We want to win. Like Chris Knight, who's playing at Dartmouth now, who is all state, blah, 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 great kid. I said, there were times in the season, I said, if he doesn't touch the ball, we don't win. So get him the damn ball.
Right. You know? And then there were times in summer where they realized that all of a sudden, now the wings come down to dig. Just, hey, now you got a wide open shot. I mean, everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Like, it's like they're only gonna, and then again, film, going back to film, you can show some of that. It's like you can find NBA, like if he's good, if they're getting the ball to LeBron in the paint, they're gonna put 3 guys on him. That's why J.R. Reed gets open threes.
Part of him too, because sometimes he'll just exist on a block where he'll be in front of a guy, but it's something simple. It's just all of a sudden we see you now. You now. He'll get there and he'll work, but he won't have his hands up, so our guys won't see him. So I mean, it's a two-way street.
And then
there.
He's got to get his hands up, and they got to see, and he's got to turn so they can see. Again, like little tidbits to the kids are important because their teenage brain is not fully developed. So you got to keep it really simple, like letters, numbers. Got to see numbers. Got to see hands, or you're not going to get the ball.
Or just make one more pass down to the wing. The amount of entry pass we've tried to make from the point. Do one more pass on the wing, and it's such a higher percentage pass in there.
Right.
And there's a turnover, and the kid will come off. All right, let's talk about. I should have made the one more pass.
Yes.
Do it.
Right.
It's frustrating, but yeah, if you could dig up those sets, I have some stuff that I've used in the past, and it hasn't been great.
Yep.
And my last question here, I gotta get my son the T-ball here in a little bit.
No worries.
Is
there you go, mow the lawn.
I don't know what your summer, but we've had so much rain and so much sun. Like it's every other day.
Yeah, we did. That was early. The last we've had some rain, but it's been like torrential stuff. So it hasn't stayed. So it was growing really fast until July 4th, and then it has slowed. Thank God. Right. I don't fertilize.
I'm a golf course guy. I fertilize and I do all that stuff, which just makes it grow even more.
Yeah, I don't fertilize. My
last question is, so we run, a dribble drive motion style offense.
Okay.
But I want to have some set stuff in there, some set calls. We can't just purely play motion. We need to have, I call them pacifier sets, where in like that 10-minute stretch where we're not scoring, we can run something that we know. How many are you guys similar, or do you have more set stuff?
Well, if you ask my assistant coaches, they think we have too many sets. I do sets. I do defense by numbers, and I do sets by colors. And again, remember what we were talking about at the beginning. Your goal is to get to the state tournament, win sectionals, all that kind of stuff. So you have to think about the farther you go along in the tournament trail, the less they're going to hear you, right? So you need to come up.
Yesterday.
Yeah. So it's crazy. I mean, I love playing in this. I love playing in the games right before the state tournament, more in the state tournament. Sounds crazy because the state tournament's at the Kohl Center, which is, holds 18,000 and maybe there's 13,000 there. But when you get into like a gym and it's packed, oh, it's crazy. It resonates through your body. It's unbelievable. It's like my drug, to be honest with you. But they won't hear you. Like I have to hold up a color, or I have to be able to hold up a number for them to know what we're doing because they won't hear me. So I think that's what you got to think along. So again, why are we calling red? And why am I holding it up every time we do it? Well, because we're going to play in this game, guys. It goes back to that psychological part. They'll call red with their, but they have to look over and get used to seeing you and the color, or your assistant holding it, or whatever it is.
Sure. I mean, how many do you have? Like, I'm just curious. Like that.
Yeah, I forgot what the question was because I got off on a tirade.
That's what my brain got.
I think it was 10 to 12 last year.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Because I had my first year had like 5 to 6, and our kids were just, that's too much. How can you expect us to memorize all these guys? That's not that much. 5 to 6 real simple calls. Like if we want to be a big time program, we got to at least have 5 or 6 things that we can do.
Yes.
So. And I didn't know.
I find 10 to 12 to be the magic because, again, we're going to have a couple post ISOs. We're going to have a couple last end of game situation ISOs. We're going to have a need a 3 ISO. We're going to have a get to the free throw line ISO. You kind of have to – don't just have them to have them. And one of my assistant coaches is awesome. He's a former head coach. And he goes – we'll come up with a play. It will work well. And then I'll come up with another one. He goes, well, what does this one do that this one doesn't do? Mm-hmm. So you always have to add, and he's very good at it because my adult ADHD gets going and I'll want like 30 seconds. He goes, no, Steve, this does exactly what this one does. We just need to get better at executing this one. So, if you're trying to get a a pick and a roll and an ISO for 3. Well, this one already does that. So you really have to think through, what does the play do and what does it create for your team?
And that's what I was going to ask you, like with these 10 to 12, like how much action do you really have like in that set? How many, because you look on Twitter and you see like these FIBA plays, like where there's 17 different.
Okay, so first of all, that stuff's like the read and react stuff. Like it's no one does that. So, and the thing is, when you're getting pressured, you got to be able to enter the ball. So entering the ball is big, to be honest with you. My normal ones have 2 or 3 actions, and then we're right into it. Anything more than that, it tends to break down.
And is this something that you can call like in the middle of a possession, or is it something that?
Yep. So I'll either call it on a dead ball, like a free throw, run red, run blue next time, or timeout, something like that. If it's during the regular season, I can definitely call it. I can, as they're dribbling, my point guard dribbling it up, I can call it. But that's definitely harder, like I said, in bigger gyms and when it gets louder. Dead ball, all that kind of stuff, I'll do it. And then if you trust your point guard, sophomore, not sure, but if you trust your point guard, I let them do some calling.
And that's where we want to get at. Even just have like some entries, some starters, like, with 1 or 2 actions that we can get into.
Especially if you're getting pressured or doubled or something, it's always good to have those with young guards. Yeah.
Get an advantage. As soon as we get an advantage on one guy, we're getting better where we can make 1 or 2 kicks, and all of a sudden we have like a double gap or something like that where we can get to the basket.
Right.
But against good defensive teams this summer, we can't get that initial advantage.
Right.
We just stop.
Yep. And then that will get them moving initially, and that's a good thing. Yes.
Yeah, that's something that I need to remember.
I can look for some of those too. I'll send you some of our sets too.
Okay.
I'll write myself a note to do that. It'll probably be the middle of August by the time I get that to you. But
that's everything on my list, Coach.
Awesome. No problem.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Let me know when once I get all this stuff sent off to you, we'll hook up again.
Yeah. It was sometime maybe before the season starts.
Yep. And I've told people at last office hours, what I'm going to try to do is try to do weekly ones on Sundays, because that tends to work best for me. And then I'm trying to figure out when everyone's season starts, so we can start talking preseason stuff. We can start talking about tryouts, and then if people want one-on-one calls, I can definitely do that. But the office hours are fun.
Thanks you guys for having to do tryouts. Luckily, that's something I'll never have to do at my side of school.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could tell a boy, hey, you can't play basketball.
It's the worst day of the year. It's the worst day of the year.
God. Yeah.
It's the worst day of the year because but I don't post it. I sit them right across from me, and I look them straight in the eye, and I say, sorry, and here's why.
We are so inclusive we got kids on our team that shouldn't be playing basketball, but they love it. It's part of the team, and we can do that because we don't have the sheer amount of guys.
Right. No, I'll have more guys try out for my varsity than you have playing in your program.
Right. And that's, we have actually, there's a whole bunch of stories I could tell you about the type of characters that we collect like on our football. So we've like I said, I've been to 3 state championships with our football team.
Right.
And we have kids like on our roster that wouldn't play on like our 7th grade team.
Right.
We take them,
you know what I love is that is what's great about high school athletics. I'm telling you, I love it because it's like where else. I tell the boys, I say, you're never going to have a feeling like this the rest of your life. You're never going to have. You might have a team at work, or you might have another, but you're never going to have this kind of feeling ever the rest of your life. It's the reason we coach,
these kids, there's so much equity into it because they've known each other since they're in kindergarten.
I know. All right, I'll let you get off T-ball. See you, Coach. All right. Bye. Hey, Coach, hope you liked that video. If you're looking for more videos just like that, check out teachhoops.com up above or down below in the show notes. I do not think you'll be disappointed. One-on-one calls, office hours, you name it, it's there for you. Learn from me. Let me help you become a better coach.